Hello guys, Mutrify here. This is gonna be my basic Gladiator and Paladin tanking guide. This is for people who are starting out as Gladiator. I've gotten a few questions, so I thought I'd make a guide about what skills you should use, what combos you can do, some tips and tricks, and a few other things you need to know. If you've already done the level 50 instances, you should know all this, and this video might not be that useful. But I might make an advanced guide later on if you want that. This is my first guide, so please leave criticism and comments below. Let's get started. Alright, so your main combo is going to be Fast Blade, Savage Blade, and Rage of Alone. These are single target abilities that generate a lot of enmity, and you always want to be doing them in the combo so you get the bonus enmity. Enmity in this game is threat, so it's basically for holding aggro. What a lot of people don't know is that you can actually use a lot of abilities in between this combo and still keep the combo going. So you can use flash, you can use your damage reduction cooldowns, you can also use your damage cooldowns and still keep this combo going, which is very useful for tanking ads. Some abilities will cancel the combo, like Riot Blade obviously, and Shield Bash, and I think Shield Blob will also cancel it. So I'm just going to show you what this looks like. I'm going to go Fast Blade, and then a cooldown, and then Savage Blade, and then Flash, and then another cooldown, and then another Flash, and Rage of Alone. And I still managed to keep the combo basically after, you know, 2 cooldowns and 2 flashes. Another interesting thing is that if you saw me jump there, you can do this like way far from them. It's just the hit detection when you start the spell, which is also very useful. You don't have to stand there and swing your sword, you can just run while you're swinging it in the opposite direction and still hit them. Another important thing about hit detection is when mobs and bosses cast these AoE spells with these red patterns on the ground, the hit detection is done when the pattern disappears, which is when the cast ends. So even though he hasn't jumped yet, that's when it decides if I'm hit or not. So like this, I go outside the pattern and he does it, and I can jump in and not take any damage. This is from auto attack and not the labored leap. So that's very useful for bosses that do AoE damage. You can run in right after the red pattern is done, basically. There are a few more abilities you should know about. You have a Shield Blob, which is your ranged attack. It's just for pulling mobs, nothing special. Then you have your Riot Blade, which combos out of Fast Blade, which is used to restore your mana. Then you have your Stun, which is Shield Bash. You can use that to cancel casts, like I just did. It's 6 seconds, but it does have diminishing returns, so the next time I cast it, it's gonna be 3 seconds. You can see here, 3 seconds, and then the next time 1 second, and after that he will resist it. He will fully resist it, and you won't stun. Stun is very useful for interrupting casts. Surprisingly, a lot of bosses can be stunned, so that's very useful to try that. And you can also stun multiple targets to take less damage, basically. Also, you have your cooldowns to reduce damage. They're not anything special, you just use them. They have an animation, so you can't just like spam them right after each other, you have to wait for the animation. But yeah, they're basically just cooldowns, just buffs, and you can read them all. Then for threat, you have a provoke ability, which is like a taunt, but it's not 100% taunt, it's just a ranged threat or enmity ability. Then you have obviously Flash, like I showed you, but also Circle of Scorn from level 50, which do generate AoE threat, and Circle of Scorn does damage, and damage over time as well. Alright, now let's go over the Paladin abilities. You get 5 abilities from your job. So in the Gladiator's case, that's the Paladin. At level 30 you get Sword Oath, and at level 40 you get Shield Oath. these are your stances, sort of. So you can only have one of them active at a time. One increases your damage, the other one increases your threat, and also reduces damage taken. So you're pretty much always going to use the Shield Oath because it gives you better tanking ability, and your damage is pretty crap anyway. So yeah, Shield Oath pretty much all the time except when you're questing alone. Then at 35 you get Cover. Cover is actually a really good ability. It's like it says, it takes all the physical damage intended for another party member and redirects it to you instead. So you can basically save your healer with this. Except it's a little hard to coordinate with people in Duty Finder who think they should just run away from you, which is obviously bad. So if you tell your parties to stop and let you save them, then this is a great ability. You just target them, stand pretty close to them, and use it, and all the attacks go to you instead. And then you tank the mobs, obviously. At 45 you get Spirits Within. Spirits Within is a high potency attack. It doesn't go on global cooldown, so you can use it between casts, and it also gives a silence effect. So it interrupts spell casts and makes them unable to cast spells for 1 second, which is useful. At level 50 you get Hallowed Ground. This is almost like an immune shield. It says renders you impervious to most attacks. So there are some mechanics that still will damage you, but for just general attacks, spells, stuff like that, you'll just take 0 damage, which is very good, and it's for 10 seconds, so that's pretty significant. If you're low and the healer needs to like rest the other healer in 8-man or something like that, just use this and you'll basically survive for 10 seconds. I'm going to show some dungeon footage. This is Endeavor Keep, which is a 50 dungeon. You want to mark mobs, so you push here, mark, right click here, mark, get up this, you can drag them to your action bars, keybind them, and then when you hold over this, it pushes out these yellow lines which show what mobs will be killed, which is very useful. Oh, and these ones popped as well. Wow. Yeah, so this is going to be an interesting one for sure. And I'm going to pop my cooldowns. I'm going to try to stun some of them now, just because there's going to be a lot of damage incoming. And this is where you see how useful stun actually is, because I would take a lot more damage if it wasn't for these stuns. I'm out of TP now, that's kind of a shame. I use some flashes to get some threat. I might be in trouble right now. Try to like run sort of a little bit away. To get my stuff up. Pop some AoE, and get the cooldown back. I have TP to stun again, so I'll be fine. Now we can just go through them and stun, like I did before. And yeah. That was a pretty big pull, I shouldn't have done that. I just forgot about spawning up there. Yep. Like you see, there's a lot of little things you can do, like the stunning and running around also helps. As long as you have threat, of course, you can start to do that immediately, because then the healer will get aggro and you will die. What? We're just finishing up these. This is the threat meter, by the way. So like you see, I have the most threat, and then he has low threat, and these don't have all most threat. Alright, so this is the demon wall boss. I think they all know what to do. So I'm just gonna go. You'll get to see some different mechanics in this fight. I'm just gonna pop a lot of stuff right away, move out of the AoE. Just keep doing my combo. That again. This guy tries to knock you out of the side, so you have to stand center when he casts his repel spell. Like that one. So see, he pushes back. Everyone here knows that, so that's fine. And soon he will spawn some bees. Those bees you can actually stun, so that's what I'm gonna try to do. There is a global cooldown on the stun though, so in some cases it's hard to stun both of them. It really depends. Beats are gonna be here any second. So he does to repel, and I think beats spawn after that. Yeah. I stun that other one, I want to get rid of this one. And then I'm going to stun this again so it doesn't get to cast. See how that cancelled? That's my stun. Yeah, these are very good compared to most people you'll find in Mutrify, so there's no problem. I really like this fight. Obviously, I've done it a few times now. It was cool. Very cool the first time. Here's the repel again. Basically now in like the last stage, there's like a DPS check, because he will push you into the wall and you have to kill him for that, but we're fine. Way ahead of schedule, so to say.